Welcome to OnConscious podcast. As always, you're here with Riva and Chris, a couple of ordinary humans fascinated by extraordinary things. Every episode, we explore different ways to break free of unconscious programming to live bigger, bolder, more badass lives. Let's get unconscious.
We're live. Our first ever live episode of OnConscious podcast. How exciting.
Hello, hi, welcome to yet another episode of OnConscious podcast. And of course, this time you can see who's behind the microphones and audio that you've been listening to all this while. Myself, I'm Riva, connecting to you from Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. And then we've got Chris McLean from the other side of the world, from Australia, yes. Melbourne. And we've got the very wonderful Yara Chebly, who's with us today. Hi, Yara. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm very good. Thank you.
Our very first guest. How exciting. Our very first ever guest.
It is
very exciting. We've got a number of people who are engaged with us. Hello, Maria, Teresa. Nice to see you there. And then we've got Chris Joyce, who's also with us today. Guys,
the Mexicans joined us. Nice.
Yes. So watch the show and you can start posting your question. A little bit about Yara Chebly. She's a certified life coach and a Theta healing practitioner. And that's what we are talking about on today's show. What exactly is Theta healing and can you do it for yourself and why it's important in these challenging times? So very quick a lowdown on my understanding of Theta healings is how I see it as all of us, we are emotional people and our emotions are connected to our brain waves and our brain waves change according to what we're doing and how we are feeling. So just to put it in very quick layman terms, if we have got slower brain waves that are dominant, and these are the times we are feeling a bit sleepy, dreamy, maybe we could be sluggish or tired. And the higher frequencies, they are corresponded to those times when we're feeling really wired and energetic and hyper alert. Now, the thing about brain waves is while altering our brain states, we can actually alter what we are doing, how we are feeling, and how open we are to changing and connecting to our subconscious thoughts. This is how I take it, but Yara will have a little bit more insight. Is this right, the way I'm putting it, Yara?
It's definitely right, yes. So depending on our state, if I'm doing sports, if I'm sleeping, if I'm just sitting and watching TV and not paying attention to the TV, yes, it's the brain waves differ with every state you are in. Definitely.
Okay, so why is it important to actually witness our brain states and our emotions, and why is it important or how does this affect the way that we heal ourselves? What is the connection?
So in order for us to be able to reach to a stage where we really want to, if you want to heal ourselves physically or mentally, or reach to a certain point in our lives, because Theta healing is not only about just healing within or healing the physical aspect of our bodies. It's also about success and reaching to better positions, more success, more abundance. Every single area of your life you can use Theta healing for. So the connection between the healing part and the emotions is the calmness of your brain. You need to be at a certain state in order for you to be connected and then do the healing. Because if you're always alert, if you're always so active and alert, your brain is not shutting down. You're always thinking about something. You're not letting it relax and just receive. So once you relax it, you're just surrendering, you're letting go, then you will be able to go down to your memories, to your past, and then you will be able to heal. Because the process is from our age 0, from the moment we are conceived until the age of 9 years old, our brain is like a sponge. So we take every single thing that happens with us. It could be something very small, like an argument that happened in front of us, or while we are in our mother's bellies, that we've heard, it got registered, and we took it with us till this age. Okay, in our 30s, something happened with us, and then we've decided to go and do theta healing. And during a session, we went down to the memory, and we discovered that our block is happening at that moment. So in order for me to go back to my memory, I need to be calm, I need to be relaxed, I need to be open-minded. So I need to have my brain waves in the theta state, not in any other state. I cannot be sleeping because I still need to be awake so that I think about it and I speak it out loud. And I cannot be very alert and active because then my brain will stop me. So the brain will not allow me very easily sometimes to access these memories, because sometimes we access memories that are really harsh and they traumatized us, or we had some drama back then and we don't really want to go there. So we stopped it and we blocked it and we forgot it in one part of our brain. So we go into a theta mode so that we relax ourselves and we feel safe in this environment. And then we let it out, you know, we speak about it, we delete it, we learn the positives from it, and then we move on, and then the block will be completely gone. It doesn't mean that the problem will not exist anymore, but it means that your reaction to the problem will not be the same. It will not trigger you as much as before.
So I have experienced this. You have led me into, I think McLean's got a question, but let me ask mine first. So I've been in this safe space and I've been in my theta brainwaves where you have guided me to a memory from my childhood, and you have completely changed my perspective of it. Now that I don't even see it as a problem. Actually, I am very grateful for that situation or for that event to have happened. It has just changed 180 degrees, which you have done for me. But can somebody do it for themselves? And how explain it to someone who hasn't been in this space before. How does the feeling work, or how does it feel like being in this theta brainwave state?
Well, first of all, you feel, if you're doing it with someone else, with a practitioner, you need to trust the practitioner. The trust has to be there. We have taken, if you want, an oath that everything that we do with a client stays within only the two of us. We cannot even give it as examples. So the trust is established. We will be so relaxed. We will be in another world, if you want. So it's only the present moment that exists. Our brain is not going to be worrying about the future, or how am I get this job done, or what am I gonna do tomorrow. So you will be in the present. And because your brain is going to be so floaty, you know, you're going to be, it's as if you're floating. We can, if you want later on in the session, we can just give a small demo about the same meditation that we do, so that we go up and we are connected. And the moment we are connected, what we mean by connected is we removed all the negativity. We just downloaded the person with all the safety, all the gratitude, all the happiness. So the person will feel so safe and so nice and so dreamy, and he will even forget why is he there. And then the practitioner will start asking you questions that will lead you to a certain point. This certain point will take you to a memory, and a lot of people will ask me, what if I don't remember? But you will have something to remember. There's always a memory that you will take us to. It might be not the memory, the exact same memory that we want, so that we heal it, because sometimes the problem is, or the challenge is too big for us to tackle at one time. You know, our subconscious wants to stop us. So it chooses a problem that is very similar, but maybe on a lighter scale. So we go to the memory, to whatever memory we remember, and we see all the negatives in the memory, but we also extract every single positive lesson that we have learned. Because why are we here? Eventually to just learn lessons and to collect virtues. So we start noticing, what did we learn from this negative experience that we went through? Because every single negative experience, no matter how ugly it was, it has its positives. A lot of people will say, no, it's impossible, but there is a way for us to extract every single positive feeling or learning or virtue we have collected from a bad memory. And then we remove it, we delete it, we send it to the light again, and we download the positive learnings that we had. And we command ourselves to just learn with ease and grace. Because a lot of us, we have the belief that says, work hard to get more money, let's say. This is like, if you want, it's engraved in our heads. I mean, we cannot just sit and watch TV without feeling guilty, let's say, just because it's engraved in our head. Maybe our parents used to tell us, you're lazy if you sit and watch TV. But the fact is that we need to delete all these beliefs that we have. And we need to teach ourselves that it's easy to learn. It's nice to learn with ease and grace. We don't have to go through the negatives and the hardship in order for us to receive a nice learning or a nice virtue.
Super interesting. This might be a bit of an aside, but just when we're talking about, that you sort of imprint most of your behaviors and character traits and attributes between sort of 4 and 7 years old. That's what I understand anyway.
Zero and 9.
Okay, 0 and 9. Okay. So when we're imprinting like strong emotions like these that stay with us through life, does it have to be? It generally seems to be. Is there a characteristic of those memories or those situations? Is it just purely us at that time found that situation to be a significant emotional? Maybe it was the first time we'd felt an emotion, or it was a first time we'd felt something negative. Is it that imprinting stage? Well, could you talk a bit about like what's happening during that stage and why that tends to happen when we're younger, and why that messes us up for the rest of our lives until we come to speak to you?
Yeah, that's the right word.
Well, I can give you an example of something. Maybe it's simple for people, and it still happens definitely with a lot of families. So one time there was a small boy, and it was his birthday, and he was going with his parents to the mall so that they get him a gift, okay, for his birthday. Let's say he's 7 years old, and in his car he was sitting in the back. The dad and the mom were in front, and then he heard the dad whisper to the mom, "We don't have enough money for the gift." So he heard this. It's not a trauma, it's not shouting, it's not yelling, it's not screaming, but the idea of he doesn't have enough money for the gift came to his head. And this child developed until his old age, if you want, the belief that either he doesn't deserve a gift, or he will never have enough money to get a birthday gift, or no one will be able to get him a birthday gift that he wants, or I have to sacrifice my money to get something more that has more priority than a birthday gift. You know what I mean? So it depends on each person what registered in his mind. So this depends on each individual. But mainly, this is what would have registered in his mind when this small thing happened.
Wow. So it doesn't even need to be significant.
No.
Particularly, or a strong emotion. It's just something that
Yes.
I heard. Or what about repetition? Is it generally worse when that neurochemically, when you hear that, if that same child heard that same thing over decades and over years, that's going to make that worse. But even that one time, that's enough, just in an offhand comment, to trigger that poor money mindset in that example.
Definitely. Now, when one particular thing happens with us many times, so what you call repetition, we call pattern. So when we are in a specific pattern in our life, let's say lack of money always, let's say always having the flu, let's say tripping down always, whatever is in your life a pattern. In a relationship, there's always unfaithfulness, whatever the pattern is, that means that you put yourself in the same situation, in the same very similar situation, again and again and again, so that you just extract the positives out of it. Because you're putting yourself there in order for you to learn a lesson. The moment the lesson is learned, this will all break, and you will just, you will have a breakthrough, and the pattern will be just cut. You won't have to put yourself again in the same repetitive pattern that you're doing every time.
Wow. So we're literally setting our karma up for the rest of our lives until we work on that, whatever that lesson, even on a small thing, an offhand message, something you heard your parents say. That's super interesting. I had it in my head that it had to be an impactful situation or a strong emotional situation to trigger that kind of deep reaction. But knowing that it's just offhand shit, that's I don't know if that's better or worse.
It doesn't even have to be something
there's a
that's
lot
really
to work
powerful.
on.
Okay, so there's something that we always used to believe, that whether it's diseases or the way we behave or the way we are, they are strongly linked to our DNA or our this is how we are made. This is our genetics. But then very recently, we are actually realizing that this doesn't necessarily have to be true. It's actually our environment that makes us who we are, not necessarily our DNA. So even when it comes to health and diseases, our environment, our thoughts, our feelings, and how we react to them actually play a big part. Would you agree with that, Yara?
Definitely, it's definitely true. Everything comes from the mind. Every single person on this earth has something called free will. I have the ultimate free will to accept a disease in my body, and I have the ultimate free will to not accept a disease in my body. So now a lot of people will come and tell me, well, if it's an example, if someone is struggling with cancer, is it possible that he put the cancer in his body? Yes, it is possible. Of course, it's subconsciously, it's not conscious, because every disease has a specific bottom belief that we need to also go back, heal it, delete it, and remove it from the system. So definitely it's coming from our brain. It can be on a genetic level because we are genetically connected to our ancestors. So it can be coming from someone else that came before us, but also it's curable and it's healable just because we can access it with our brain. So it can be genetic, but it's not genetic and we cannot do anything about it. It can be genetic, but we're in total control of it.
I mean, this is what they're talking about now, and that the quite new science of biology of epigenetics, biology of belief, and our favorite Dr. Joe and those guys. Epigenetics is literally that sort of new age or the latest science around genetic programming, that genes aren't actually self-automating, that they're controlled by the perceptions or by the environment, which is what you just said. So it's
So talking about childhood, we went in a little bit about childhood and how incidents and events, no matter how big or small, as long as they have impacted us, could actually mess us up in Chris McLean's words. But
I went with the nice version. I was trying to keep it PG-13 over here.
I know, okay, F us up. But why is it that children tend to get into these, are more suggestible, number one? And why is it children, they manage to enter theta brainwaves easier than adults, number two? And and then I've got a third question, might as well plug this in as well. What is the difference between an alpha brainwave, a beta brainwave, and a theta brainwave? Like,
Okay.
how does it matter?
So definitely kids will it's not about just being in the theta brainwave, but it's about being always present. Kids tend not to worry about, imagine one adult of 35 years old and one kid of 7 years old, and they are sitting. The adult is worried, they are playing with a ball, let's say. The adult will be worried about how is he gonna get to work tomorrow, if he's gonna get paid at the end of the month or not, where's his boyfriend, her boyfriend or his girlfriend. Millions of thoughts at the same time are gathered in this one mind. The kid, what he will be just doing is really playing with the ball. So he's actually just living the present moment. This is why they tend to be more, if you want, connected than us, because they still didn't collect these a lot of baggages, you know, through the years, because it needs a lot of negative experiments to do this. But they are more connected, they are more dreamy, they allow themselves to dream. The kids, if you see them, they have the robots in their hands and the Barbie dolls, and they play role model. They can just have their imagination take them elsewhere. They put the cape on and they just act as if they are flying, because they believe that they can fly. But how many times you see an adult just putting the cape on and acting as if he's gonna fly? It's just because he blocked his mind. And just be realistic, and you're not gonna fly. Just sit, and we've been told, and society told us, that if we sit and dream, it's a waste of time. But it's actually not. I'm not saying that we can sit and just dream all day long, but allowing ourselves to let the mind take us to where we want to go, or to where the mind wants to go. Complete this idea. If you're sitting and you're daydreaming about you riding a horse and going somewhere, allow your mind to take you this somewhere, so that you see what happens next. You know, where are you gonna go? Are you gonna go on the horse to the beach, or to the mountain, or are you gonna reach to a farm? Just allow yourself to discover what's gonna happen next. Don't stop
is that
yourself,
an active,
you know?
sorry, is that like, you're talking like an active meditation type process, where you're kind of
This
not
can be
leading, but you're involved in the daydream? It's like an active daydreaming. Is that kind of what you're saying?
this actually happens a lot with me since school days. You know, if I'm sitting and there's a boring subject happening in front of me, my mind tends to take me places. You know, I can be in another place, dreaming about something else, and completely not aware of what's happening around me. So it doesn't matter if I'm in a meditative state, if you want, because now I can do it while sitting, and just, even if I'm opening my eyes, I can still do it. A lot of people need a little bit more help, if you want, in order for them to just let go. And we can reach to a stage where you can just sit and let your imagination guide you.
Okay, can we do that now? What if we have like about 5 minutes and we can all go to that? I think we've got about a number of viewers with us right now. So if we were to sit down right here where we are while watching this and go to that space, would you be able to do that for us, Yara?
Sure, of course. We're gonna feel a little bit sleepy at the end, because the brain will think, our body will think that we are sleeping, but our brain will be awake. So once we finish, we're gonna feel just a little bit sleepy, but 5 minutes after that, it's as if you guys had a nap. Okay. So if you want, yes, we can start. So
all
we're
right,
gonna
guys,
do the
get
same
comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm sure we are all under, working at home mode now. So none of us are driving anything like that. But if you happen to be driving and watching us, please park your
operating
car
heavy
somewhere or
machinery.
do not. Yeah. Do not try this. Try this at home, but do not try this when you are
Or in the
Yeah.
bath. Or in a body of water.
So
Okay.
this is the same meditation that we usually use to connect to the source where everything happens and where all the healing happens. So I'll guide you through it. And let me just try to put some. Is this fine?
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
got
Wow,
mood
music
and
on
everything.
demand.
Okay. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. And with every breath, just inhale all the positivity of the world and exhale all the negativity and everything that's bothering you. Clear all your system. And now I want you to imagine that there's a ball of light coming from Mother Earth. And this ball of light is gonna go through your body. And it's gonna go up through your feet. And it's gonna relax and enlighten every single muscle and every single organ it's gonna pass through. So imagine that this ball of light is going up through your feet, it's going through your toes, it's going up through your legs, through the knees, it's relaxing every single organ and muscle, and it's going up to your thighs, it's going up to your belly, to your chest, and it's even relaxing your shoulders. And it's going through your shoulders, your hands, your legs even are relaxed. And now it's going up through your neck and up to your face. It's relaxing your cheeks, the skin on your face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. It's even relaxing the hair on your head. And now I want you to imagine this ball of light above your head. And I want you to notice the color of it. And I want you to imagine yourself jumping inside this ball of light. And I want you to imagine yourself flying up. Push yourself up inside the ball and fly higher and higher and higher. And go up, up, up. And now start looking around and check all the planets, all the stars. You can even see the moon. You can even see the sun as well from how high up you are. And you look down and you start seeing the earth going further and further away because you're going higher and higher. Go up, up, up. You're gonna start reaching layers of colors, layers of lights. Now you reach a layer of a jelly or jello-like substance. Notice all the rainbow colors that it has. It's a nice feeling to be here, but leave it and go higher and higher, up, up, up. Now you reach to a pink color. It's like a pink mist. This is the color of compassion. It's so calm, it's so relaxing. It's so nice to be here. And I want you to notice at the end of this pink color, a window-like or a door. I want you to go through it. Go through it head first and push your whole body so that you reach to an ultimate space. It's so bright, the light is so wide and iridescent, but at the same At the same time, it's so nice, it's so peaceful. This is where everything happens. This is the ultimate peace and relaxation. This is where we can command every single positive state that we want to have in our lives. So let's do some downloads. I want you to say yes to every single download that I'm gonna give you if you really want it. So let's download the listeners with a lot of happiness, a lot of peace. Let's download them with a feeling of safety. Let's download them with the feeling of everything's gonna be fine eventually. Let's download them with the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of being thankful for everything in our lives. Let's download everyone also with the feeling of healthy. I am healthy, we are all healthy. We are grateful for our health. Let's download everyone with courage. Let's download everyone with the feeling that being comfortable is the right thing to do right now. And we are allowed to be comfortable. Allow ourselves to be comfortable. Let's download everyone with love. Let's teach each other and teach ourselves that we are allowed to be loved and we are allowed to love. And it is safe to love and be loved. And let's download everyone also with trust. Trust in what's coming. Trust that everything is happening now is the way it's supposed to be. And let's be thankful. Let's be grateful for what we have. Let's think right now about the top 5 things we are grateful for. And we say thank you for all of that. It is done, it is done, it is done. So let's imagine that there's this really, really bright light and coming down to the center of our head, and it's filling us. All our body is filling us with a lot of light and with all these positive downloads that we just mentioned. So our body is becoming so light, so dreamy, so relaxed, so comfortable. And we are learning that everything is going to be okay and that everything is already okay. And that there's a solution for everything. So take a deep breath in and let's go. And I want you now to imagine that there's a shower next to you, but instead of water coming out from the shower, there's light. So I want you to stand under this light and I want you to take a full shower with this light. So take a shower from your head to your toes and imagine that every single organ, every single cell is being filled with this light. Clean yourself very well with the light. And once you're done, you can draw a smile on your face and you can open your eyes and you can still remain being in this floaty energy if you want.
Cool. That was very nice.
Yeah, how was it?
Wow. Yeah, very peaceful and very loving.
Very
and
dreamy.
Very dreamy, yeah.
Good. So
Yes.
you were
I think I'll
able
take a nap
to... Exactly.
What did we just do? Like, where did we just go? It was just imagination. It was us daydreaming. Or is it more than that?
It's actually more than that. We went to the 7th plane where everything happens, where it's the ultimate vibrational state that you can ever reach to. So when you imagine something, let's say you imagine, I believe that when you imagine something, then it happened already, or it will happen. Our imagination is coming from somewhere. So when your imagination takes you places and you allow it, it means you actually went there. It was peaceful to a stage where you really thought that you are there. You forgot for a second, you forgot where you were, right?
Yeah,
You just forgot that you were, just sitting in your room doing this podcast. I'm sure, because I'm the one who was speaking it, and I forgot really. Your body will, you will reach to a stage where you won't sense your body, and it's just your mind that is working and that is following the instructions in order to reach there. So we did reach to the ultimate vibrational state. It's where everything is relaxed. It's where you couldn't think about a lot of negative things, and bit by bit you will start trusting this space, and you will start trusting that the moment I reach there, everything's going to be fine. All I have to do is to command it to happen, because this is what my brain wants.
And is this something that people at home can do for themselves, or is it does it need to be led? Is there an emotional exchange that happens there, or a spiritual exchange?
From my personal experience, we got a lot of training so that we are able to do it ourselves. And for someone who didn't do it before, it will need a lot of practice to keep our mind focused, because our subconscious mind will always try to distract us from going deeper, because he knows that we're going to discover some nasty things. So believe it or not, a lot of times you're just in the middle of a meditation, and this practically always happens with someone who's resisting the change, and something happens. There's always a door that someone is knocking on, a phone that cannot stop ringing, suddenly someone wants to go to the toilet, suddenly all these feelings will come at the same time, just for our subconscious to stop us from digging further. This is why at the beginning it's better if you have someone to guide you, so that you are really into it, so that if something like these external things happen, this person will be holding the space for you to heal, and the person will deal with it. The person will direct you if you went somewhere else, because a lot of times our brain takes us somewhere else. I'm just sitting and meditating, and then suddenly I'm thinking about everything else in my life. How am I going to do this or that? So usually the meditator, like the person who's doing the meditation, will feel it. It will feel when the person is not connected with him, and he will bring him back to track. So answering your question in short, yes, it can be done alone. Preferably it has to be guided the first couple of times maybe, so that you are able to really reach where you want to reach, and train your brain that it's your own time now, just do it completely.
Okay. Now that we've touched a bit on the subconscious, I think it leads me to my next question. And once again, I just want to thank all those people who have joined us today. Rita has said it's such a calming feeling. She feels so relaxed. Stephanie Chebly, very relaxing. Thank you so much. And to all of the others who are part of this podcast. What is our subconscious? Because as human beings, we find it really hard to grasp and understand things that we cannot see, that we cannot hold, that we cannot physically, touch and see. It's a concept that's so difficult to grasp. So when we talk about our subconscious, is this something to do with something that wakes up when we are dreaming, or is this some repressed memories that come up from time to time? And is our subconscious always true to us?
Definitely. The subconscious is when you do something without thinking about it, okay? And it gets registered there. And sometimes you use it as a defense mechanism. It's as if I'm protecting. This subconscious comes up and then he has all the information inside it, okay, because we did it without thinking. We didn't do it on purpose to register this. I want to register this memory, check. I want to register this feeling, check. No, it happened without us thinking about it, and then it stayed there. And the moment, when does it surface? In a moment of anger, because a lot of times when we are so angry, we start saying things that maybe are hurting others. And this is, and a lot of people will tell you, yeah, this was my subconscious speaking, because this is why in psychology, when someone comes and hurts you in a fight, and then he comes and apologizes later, and then that he was angry, but it's actually the ideas that came out of his mouth are true, actually, because they are the hidden ideas, and they were triggered by the feeling of anger, and then they came out. So it can be, our subconscious can also be risen, if you want, while we're dreaming, yes, when we are relaxed, yes, but and sometimes verbally without us thinking about it. So a lot of times when you're just having a normal conversation, during the conversation you can say, yeah, I can afford this, but money doesn't grow on trees. This is a belief that was registered in our subconscious that came out during a conversation. You won't notice that it's a belief that was registered in the subconscious, but if someone is paying attention to it, he will take a note about it. So it's everything that is hidden, actually, and we don't want to let it face outside.
I mean, the subconscious it sounds like they're trying to outdo us, or like it's a negative thing, but it's really just a receptacle of everything. It's, primarily that's just, we take in so much information that the front part of the brain, simply the conscious, simply just can't process that amount of information. So it gets stored back in the subconscious. And like I said, certain triggers, as we wear those triggers between, things like anger, those emotional things, that's things that can trigger and pull out those feelings or those repressions and those links. Is that kind of how it works?
Okay. If we talk about the subconscious being this receptacle that has stored all this information and comes up now and again, can we talk to our subconscious? Can we change? Can we delete things that are in this receptacle, throw them away, and put something new in there?
Change the programming?
Yeah.
That's actually definitely true. This is exactly what we do during a theta session. So what do? We go to our subconscious. We always, during a session, remember one memory of, let's say, a bad feeling, and that we stored there, So we have to dig and find it in the subconscious. We find the memory, we dig it out, we change it, and this is where, yes, the subconscious can be rewired, if you want, and then we put all these positive learnings and positive virtues in it instead of the negative ones. We delete the negative ones. Once we have learned the lesson, we don't need to relearn it and relive it again. So answering your questions, yes, it's definitely true that we can change our subconscious to whatever we want, to a more positive state, to more positive learnings, and to delete everything that is negative that already have happened with us.
So are you saying that in that case, we go in, we change a memory, and then something like the same trigger that used to, I used to respond angrily to my partner. My partner would say something and I just respond with anger. If I go in and change that trigger no longer has that same memory attached to it, so I'm going to respond differently.
Very true. It's not about you responding differently, responding not verbally, but reacting, if you want differently. Yes. A lot of times when after a session, let's say the example of the partner, your partner told you something that usually really, really bothers you a lot, and it triggers this anger within you, and suddenly you just look and you just cannot find it as frustrating as always,
Right.
and you just let it go, you know, and you're gonna be surprised a lot for a couple of times until you get used to the new you know, because usually you're angry when something like this happens, and today you didn't get angry. So it will take you also time to know yourself again, you know, from the beginning, because it's a new person.
So we have been talking about our past, our how emotions and our subconscious been a receptacle of the past. Let's go a little bit to the future. So you know how goal setting and coming up with mind maps and visualizing, all these things were like buzzwords. They still are in certain aspects. How does theta healing help us get to our goals or help us define our careers or the right path? Is there anything called the right path anyway?
There's something called the divine timing. So it's not right or wrong, because for you it might be right, for me it might be wrong. So there's nothing in life called right or wrong. So we call it divine timing. It's what we came here to do, actually. Each one of us has his own divine timing. We might have one, we might have 100, we don't know. And we are here to just complete one after another. So when we set goals, how can we know that we are able, or how can we use theta to be able to reach our goals, is by deleting the blocks that we have. Let's say I have, do you want to give me a goal from yours? Any goal you want to achieve? Or let's say conscious, your website will, or the live streaming or Facebook Live or whatever, or the podcasts are going to reach a million viewers.
A million viewers.
A million viewers.
I went small, but damn it, a million.
Yeah.
I like how you're thinking.
So why did you say 10,000 and not a million?
I guess because it seemed more realistic, maybe.
Okay, so why does a million not seem realistic for you?
Oh no, McLean, you gotta answer that. Found yourself in a pickle, haven't you?
I'm having a session. I think that's the jump from 19 to a million seems really, really far. And I guess we're just starting now. We're at the 8th episode, you know, so it seems possible, but it seems far off.
Sure. So we found now your bottom belief. You have a bottom belief that says that jumping from 19 to a million is impossible, or it needs time. So for us, we don't believe in time. We believe that time and space are an illusion. And in order for you to reach the million viewers on your podcasts, we need to delete this block that says that from 19 to a million needs time. It needs a year, it needs 5 months. So this thinking in your brain, came from somewhere, from an old memory. So we will make the process, there's a certain process, and we will delete this belief that you had, and then we replace it with all the positive learnings. The moment you learn your learning, the same moment, not the next day, you will have your million viewers. So it is that fast, it is that easy and that simple. So going back to setting the goals, every single goal that you put for yourself, just put next to it, what would stop you from doing this? Or what is the impossibility of it not happening? Like, we need to ask ourselves, what is the block for us, in order for us to when we know it, we delete it.
Brilliant.
Is this why you keep asking? Okay, wait. No, you first, fine. You go.
I was saying, the thing is, I theoretically believe exactly what you said. Like, if someone was to ask me about belief systems and how 100% time doesn't exist, all of that, but I still can feel that there's that resistance. So even somebody, like, I would classify myself as somebody that has quite an open perspective on this stuff, but there's definitely still You can feel that
Definitely, because
limitation.
you still didn't
A million
experience
feels
it.
like, ooh, like there's a thing there. So I'm
Exactly.
going to book in with you for a session next week. We'll delete it next
Definitely.
week, a million people.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, coming to that, is it even possible to do this remotely, like a theta healing, just like how we
Yes.
did just now? It's remote. It's possible.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. It can be over the phone, on a phone call, or video call, or in person. Yes, it can be anywhere. And the moment the two people are listening to each other, then it's fine. Yes, we can do it.
Okay. I think we've got about 7 or 8 minutes left on our live podcast today.
Yes.
So a couple more questions, and one of them being, well, I can use theta healing to heal myself. That much I've learned today. And I know it's very possible. It's about removing blocks. But what if there is a certain someone in my life that I want to heal? Whether it's some kind of a medical problem or whether it's a mindset, is that possible?
Well, each person has something called free will. If he doesn't want to heal, he will never heal. If he wants to heal, in his mind, in his brain, you helping him is by showing him, is by providing the space for him to heal, is by being present for him. But if he doesn't agree within himself and within his mind to heal, he will not do it. The moment he's ready, so sometimes he might be ready in 5 years or tomorrow or in 2 years. We never know. So each person, it depends on from a person to another. So he might be still, because if he's not healing now, it means that he still has a lot of lessons for him to learn from this, from whatever he's experiencing. The moment he will learn them, he will heal by himself. He will be guided.
How do I do it? How do I get someone else to be in a similar space as me and do this healing? Or is it even possible?
It is definitely possible if he allows you and if he's open-minded. And a lot of times if someone is hurting somewhere, or we want to download, like for example, now we do a lot of meditations for the earth, for the whole earth to heal.
Yeah.
What we
Okay.
do is, when we're sitting down, you know, each one has his own aura. It's around us. Our soul is around us. It's not inside us like a lot of people think. So
Our soul is not inside us?
no. Because this is
Okay.
why we're connected. Yeah.
Right.
It's around us. This is why you have all these energies floating. Sometimes you meet someone and you feel, his energy is good with mine, you know, because our souls
Good
are
vibes.
connected. Yes, exactly. So there's an exercise actually that we can do, where we can do a sort of a meditation. We close our eyes and we expand our aura until it expands to, like, I can download everything in my aura, yeah, because I have free will and I'm doing it for myself and I said yes to it. And I can expand it until it's covering the whole village and the whole country and the whole earth. And then I can download in it every single thing that I want with the healings that I want. But if the person didn't allow it coming into his system, he will not get it. But at the same time, if I'm doing this meditation and expanding my aura and downloading everything subconsciously, if you want to receive it, you will receive it. Sometimes suddenly you will feel great without any other reason. Maybe someone is doing this meditation and he's putting you inside their bubble as well. A lot of times things that are not that you cannot explain, you know, the mood change suddenly, you feel happy suddenly. So yes, you can change as long as you have his approval. And if you get his approval and his permission for you to be able to do something for him to heal, then he can heal. A lot of times people in coma, because he's in a coma, his body is in a coma, but the soul is still there, definitely. So we take permission from him one way or another, or we take permission from one of his relatives for the healing to happen, because we cannot go ahead and do it without any permission. And if we're healing a small child, we also take permission from his parents or we even ask him if he understands. So the moment they give you they allow you to do this, then you're going to be able to do it. Then they are going to receive it, because otherwise they won't receive.
So it's like inviting vampires into your house. You have to invite them in or they can't come in. So, okay.
That's true.
Got
yes.
it. Got it. That's my reference.
There's this really cool trick that you did with me in one of those sessions where we were kind of like not testing, but connecting with our subconscious with a series of questions. You were and where your body leans backwards and forwards. Well, what is that all about?
Well, our subconscious cannot lie to us or while he's not thinking. So usually the body, if you're standing straight, if you say you have to be hydrated, first of all, so your body has to have a lot of water in it, and then you stand up straight, and then you start asking questions. So the question, let's say you say yes, 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 you will lean a little bit forward, and when you ask no, 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 you will lean a little bit backwards. And we start asking questions so that we know what bottom belief do you have, because this is how we address the subconscious, so that we know where do we start from. If you don't have a subject to work on, we ask you we let you say, let's say 20 statements, and after these statements we will know which bottom beliefs do you have in order for us to work on it next time. There's another trick also. Maybe we can in another episode show you all the tricks that we have, because there's one with the hand, and there's one with the strength of the body, and you can do it also with your home, with your house, to see what's beneficial for you to have, what's not, what food is let's say more beneficial than the others. If you have allergy on something, you can do it from this
Wow.
This way as well. Yeah.
Damn, we should have asked that much earlier. That sounds really interesting now. It's lunchtime and dinner time in Australia. Mecklin, you've got any final questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll do a follow-up with all of that stuff. I think it's been super fascinating, Yara. It's been, I found it really interesting to understand more about how our subconscious sort of messes with us, but the plasticity of it, that we do have choice, like you say, we do have free will, and there are technologies out there that we can change our thinking and make our lives better and move towards our goals and remove the blocks that are stopping us getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Yara, for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And the last 1 hour has been incredible. For someone who has attended sessions with you, there's just so much to learn and so many misconceptions to break, and so many barriers, so many blockages that we all have the chance, the opportunity to remove. So hopefully we'll have you back on another show really, really soon.
Of course,
definitely.
And okay.
Before you go, Yara, where can people find you? Obviously, if they want to come see you in person, they need to be in Dubai. But can they find you online? Can we book remote sessions with you while we're all self-isolating?
Of course, they can check my Instagram account, Y Consulting Hub, and it has all the details. It has my email address, and they can contact me straight there, ask me anything, and I'll be in touch with them.
Beautiful. And we'll post all that. We'll get all of your accounts and all your details in the show notes, and that'll be up on the website and on all of your favorite podcast providers.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being with us today. And we are signing off. But in a couple more days, we're going to have another guest on our show. We're going to do another live session tomorrow. Yeah.
We're talking.
So do come back for that.
Yes, we're talking about moving from fear into growth tomorrow. So if you enjoyed today, strap in, and we'll be back tomorrow. See you then.
Great. See you guys. Thanks,
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Yara.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks so much.